Before we get into the breakdown of the 616 in LA track, let's talk about the crazy records that Kendrick Lamar is breaking because of these diss tracks. And it's next level stuff. He's breaking Drake's records. So the first thing is chart data reported that Kendrick Lamar is Not Like Us, which, by the way, hasn't had a full week on the streaming platforms. I think it missed a day. I think it dropped. When did Not Like Us drop? I think it dropped on, might have been Saturday or something like that. I don't remember. Let me see. Let me actually look at the dates on this, just to 100% be clear. Because usually tracks drop, Friday, and then they got the whole Friday till next Friday to kind of get up their numbers, and then they eventually go on the charts. But Not Like Us dropped. Yeah, it dropped on a Saturday, which means it missed, Friday as a streaming day. And it dropped midday Saturday, so it missed like a day and a half of full streaming. But despite that, chart data has reported, and this is insane, Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us breaks the all-time record for biggest single-day streams of a hip-hop song in United States, by the way, not globally, U.S. Spotify history, passing Drake and Lil Baby's Girl Want Girls. So he broke Drake's record with that diss track. And then chart data reported that Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us rose to number one on the global Spotify chart with a new daily high of 10.9 million streams, up 41%, which made it the biggest streaming day for a hip-hop song in 2024. Mind you, this was halfway through the day. This wasn't a full day. This dropped mid-Saturday. On top of that, it dropping mid-Saturday caused this to happen as well. There's another record. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us breaks its own all-time record for biggest single-day streams of a hip-hop song in U.S. Spotify history with a new high of 6.8 million streams. So not only did Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us break Drake's record with the Girls Want Girls record, but then Kendrick the next day broke his own record that he just broke. Like, that's insane. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us remains at number one global Spotify chart with new daily high of 11.85 million streams. This is the biggest streaming day in hip-hop in 2024 and the second biggest hip-hop peak of all time when it comes to global Spotify charts. And then, that's not it. Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us breaks all-time record for biggest single-day streams for a solo hip-hop song in global, so this is not just America, around the world, Spotify history, passing Drake's Champagne Poetry, which is 11.85 million. So Kendrick Lamar dissing Drake beat Drake out in his own spot. Now, what are people going to say? Oh, that's the Drake effect. If it wasn't for Kendrick mentioning Drake, he would have never done this. Here's my refute to that. Here's my two things refuting that. One, Kendrick Lamar was already a superstar before Drake. I mean, we have Humble went number one. That's his solo record. That was him by himself. Never mentioned Drake. He got a number one record with that. He got a number one record with Taylor Swift, Bad Blood. He got a number one record with the Like That track. I think Like That would have still been a hit regardless of Kendrick mentioning Drake or not. That's just a hit record. I mean, you can tell. Anybody who can't see that or is just being biased and delusional. Like That was a hit record regardless of him mentioning, Drake. So he's already had that superstar thing. That's what I'm saying. Drake met his match when it comes to somebody who's lyrically up there with Drake, potentially better, and then somebody who has a star power, Drake. I think, Drake has a bigger star power, obviously because he's more consistent, but Kendrick has matched his star power quite a few times. With Damn, just the success of Damn showed that he matched his star power. So when people say, oh, it's the Drake effect, it's because he mentioned Drake. What about other artists? What about Meek Mill when he mentioned Drake? What about Pusha T? What about other artists what about Rick Ross's Champagne Poetry? So it's not about mentioning Drake. It's just about, is the record fire? That's the number one thing. And who is it? Do we know this guy? Does he have star power? I do believe if Pusha T added the story of adding down to streaming platforms, I don't think he would have had a number one record. By the way, this is scheduled for Kendrick Lamar to debut at number one. And that'll be the first time Kendrick Lamar has ever debuted at number one. Let's not get it twisted. This is not Kendrick's first number one. It'll be his first debut, meaning like the first time it hits the charts, it's automatically number one. Um, and the crazy thing is, Euphoria is fighting it. Literally, Kendrick Lamar is battling himself for the number one spot. Euphoria is potentially going to be number one. So it's between Not Like Us or Euphoria. And next week, potentially, Kendrick's going to be either number one or number two. Both the spots. He's going to have number one and number two, and they're both going to be diss tracks to Drake. So that's the crazy thing in this. I think, it's not the Drake effect. That's the thing. Kendrick already has himself established. And on top of that, if that was the Drake effect, other artists would have had number one hits like this, dissing Drake. Of course, it helps. All this beef, all this stuff happening, it helps. I think Not Like Us is a hit record regardless. I mean, when we heard it, it just has a lot of catchy things. The beat is catchy. People are playing in clubs, enjoying it. I don't know about the battle itself, if Kendrick would have delivered a record like that, but that's the smart thing in this thing, man. In this Kendrick thing is that he pulled the Drake on Drake. This is what Drake was supposed to basically do, is deliver a hit that's a diss record, which he did with Meek Mill. He delivered that back to back. Everybody was bumping that, loving it. But Kendrick pulled the Drake on Drake and flipped it on him and decided to deliver that hit that's a diss record, and it's working. And I don't know, man. I think it's just a huge salute to Kendrick. There's another thing that came out when it comes to Kendrick. Billboard reported that Kendrick's back catalog, which means his old music, is up 49% following the weekend of the beef. And guess this, Drake's back catalog is down 5%, meaning less people are bumping Drake after all this. So Kendrick's up 49%, Drake's down 5%. Is this a gauge on what to expect in the future? Meaning, are people over Drake? Is Drake ever going to be able to reach, being Drake again, meaning hit records and stuff? I think he's not affected by it, unless obviously some evidence comes out of the pedophile stuff. Obviously, for me, it's over. I'm never listening to that guy's music. I'm deleting all of his. Man. At that point, that's the worst thing you can be as a human being to me, in my eyes. I can't rock with it. But despite that, let's just say no evidence, no solid evidence is out there. Will people? I don't think Drake will really struggle. Will people shift? Here's the thing about this Kendrick and Drake thing as well. I don't think it's really moved people that much. Like, I don't think it moved a Drake stan into a Kendrick fan, and then a Kendrick fan into a Drake stan or whatever. Like, I think people are just kind of stuck in their ways, and there's some people that are in between that don't really care. Like me, I'm a fan of both. I can enjoy both. I can enjoy all the diss tracks. I don't really care. But I don't think it's moved people really that much. And I could be wrong. This is a early indicator that potentially it did move people. Maybe people just ain't rocking with Drake anymore. Maybe they feel like he really is a pedophile. I don't know. Yeah, man, crazy. But is this an early indicator of people just not fucking with Drake anymore? I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell. But I think I think Drake will still be fine as long as none of that, those accusations are actually proven true. I think he'll be fine, man. All Drake, if anything, it'll put a battery in Drake's back to potentially deliver a great album. Because in my eyes, he hasn't really delivered a great album. He's delivered good albums, meaning 6 and 7s. Out of 10s. But great is like 8, 9. Like that. To me, he hasn't done that in a minute. So maybe he'll inspire him. Maybe he'll put a batteries back to deliver a great album. And then all he's got to do is give us one of those melody hits that he has. And he's back to number one. And, kind of people, are still going to praise him. But to me, I don't think it's really moved people that much. At least that's the way I view it. I could be wrong. Maybe somebody in the comments right now will comment and be like, I used to be a Drake fan, now I'm a Kendrick fan. I used to be a Kendrick fan, now I'm a Drake fan. I don't know. But to me, I don't think it's really moved people. I think people are set in their ways, and it just is what it is. But this might be an early indicator that I could be wrong, that it is probably moving people. So we'll see. We'll keep our eyes posted. But shout out to Kendrick for breaking all those records. That is insane, man. If there's any indicator of, who's winning, it's usually these type of things. As much as, I don't really like to go after numbers when I'm talking about rap battles, but hey, if people are bumping your shit more, the numbers prove it, then it just is what it is. People are rocking with it more. So, yeah, we'll keep our eyes posted on that.